Was it over pragmatism yesterday against City, or was it actually a game plan that was being executed in a really good way? Let's get into it. Another big game, another fallout, and another debate surrounding Mikel Arteta and his tactics. But I think there is more to the story than what some people are leading it to believe. Because for one, I do think there is a sense of pragmatism that maybe we shouldn't be showing. I said it in my match reaction, and if you haven't watched that, go and watch it now. But I did say that I felt City were there for the taking, and we chose a midfield three that ultimately was more safe and about control. But having said that, it did pin City down to some really poor stats. 36%, the lowest that Pep Guardiola's ever seen as a first team manager in top flight football. So I do think there was a game plan to nullify City, control the game, and then basically go through a war of attrition. And again, looking at our squad depth, it would have been, again, the substitutes that maybe dictate the way this tie goes if the starting 11 didn't. And for one thing, the stats and also the way in which City performed yesterday do suggest that a game plan was hatched and it was working for the most part. You know, City, apart from the Haaland goal, which I think personally was more down to individual errors, Gabriel pressing way too high and the midfield just losing that battle, and ultimately a transition goal that we conceded, was more about that moment rather than the game as a whole, because City didn't really provide much by way of threat. But having said that, yes, I do think that despite Mikel Arteta saying no one questioned him about the midfield three against Bilbao, he did make these changes at half time. So I think there was an acknowledgement that basically the midfield he put out to start the game were not doing enough. We needed someone like Eze to come into the fold that would pull players out of position and ultimately break up that blue wall, as Gary Neville called it. So when reflecting on it, I don't think it was the worst strategy in the world. I do think that we need to buy into ourselves a bit more and not be overly pragmatic at times, because as I've said multiple times in this video and the previous video, City are nowhere near it and they were there for the taking. So whilst I'm happy with the point, I understand the criticisms and the frustration for it feeling like 2 drop points. So the truth is somewhere in the middle. We are being overly pragmatic at times, but also these game plans do make sense because we're making very good opponents look weaker than they may actually be. But I know this is going to rage on as a debate, so let me know what your thoughts are. You know what to do right there in the comments.